I'm Mike Scinto, and my wife Kathy and I moved here in 1987 for a couple of reasons. We like the Tipp City area, and one of the things we especially like for ourselves as well as for our daughter Carly and our son Zach, the places that they can have to have recreation and we can have to relax. Tipp City's parks. Great place to play, right, Zach? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll take off. We know that many of you feel the same way about Tipp City parks. We're going to take you on a brief tour, if you will, of the history of the parks as well as what we have planned for the future and where some of those parks are located. You might be surprised. So stay with us. What better place to start than where it all began, right here in Tipp City's first park. This is the site of Tipp City Park, Tipp City's first park. 26 acres, bought in 1884 and located at the intersection of North 3rd Street and Parkwood Drive. 3 years later, in 1887, this octagonal pavilion, known to residents of Tipp City as the Roundhouse, was built for $700. This structure is used for everything from picnics to family reunions, and in the summer is used by Tipp Monroe Community Services for youth activities. The Roundhouse received a well-deserved renovation in 1998 for a cost of $30,000. In the 1940s, 12 additional acres were purchased by the city and added to the park. That acreage allowed for ball diamonds and a football field. In 1955, the community rallied behind plans to build an L-shaped swimming pool, which has since seen additions and is still enjoyed today. In the tradition of all American cities, friends and neighbors have gathered together to view Independence Day fireworks in Tipp City Park for the past half-century. It was decided that more parkland was needed to accommodate the recreational needs of a growing community in the 1970s. HATHAWAY Village Park was the first in a chain of new green space areas provided by each new neighborhood under development. That green space also included play equipment and amenities for residents. Most residents of Tipp City can walk to one of these parks. At about the same time, the city acquired land along the Great Miami River north of City Park to be developed as a nature area. That development is ongoing today. River access made a canoe livery a natural for a city park addition, and on hot summer days, families and friends can be seen lazing their way down the Great Miami. In 1992, the Tipp City Parks Advisory Committee was established. Now, that does a couple of things. It gives citizens more input into the future development of and maintenance of the parks that are already there or are planned in the future. It also helps City Council. We, on the Parks Advisory Committee, help establish a plan, a long-range plan as well as a short-range plan, to help develop those parks in conjunction with the input from the community. We are not a governing body on the Parks Advisory Committee. We simply offer the advice and suggestions to City Council, who takes final action. In 1987, Spring Hill Nurseries donated almost 300 acres to the city for the Thomas B. Kyle Memorial Park. The first 60 acres was prepared for uses such as soccer fields, ball diamonds, playground equipment, and access roads. Also, as a joint public-private venture, a driving range is part of the facilities at Kyle Park. 300 trees have been planted, and a large pavilion was also donated to Kyle. In recent years, picnic shelters, tables, benches, and equipment have been donated by various individuals and community organizations. There are still over 200 acres to be developed in Kyle, and residents of Tipp City can expect the park system to meet their recreational, play, and green space needs well into the future. In a moment, we'll give you a list of the current areas in the Tipp City Park system. In addition to those, 3 neighborhood parks in the residential areas of Manchester Chase, Hampton Woods, and Sycamore Woods will be added in coming years. A master plan for the next decade has been designed to guide the development of all these parks through that period and beyond. Maintaining a system this size isn't cheap. The city's annual park budget for capital improvements, maintenance, and operations exceeds $200,000 per year. The system always surpasses available funds. So where do the dollars come from? Here's a little background on the money side of the park system. Tipp City's original park came from municipal funds. Kyle Park was created through land donation, and initial development came from grants. All other park land in Tipp City came from subdivision developers as a requirement of the city. Park development money is also required from developers for park equipment. Many of the picnic shelters and pavilions came from donations from individuals or community organizations. The swimming pool was the result of a community fund drive. The football complex has seen the city, Monroe Township, and Tipp City schools working hand in hand. Much of the playground equipment has come from community organizations, the Tipp Foundation, city funds, and individuals like yourselves. That restoration on the roundhouse came in part from a donation from a trust fund at Fifth Third Bank. The original construction of the roundhouse was an old-fashioned horse trade of sorts. He funded construction and in turn was allowed to have horse races and dances there. As I mentioned earlier, the driving range as well as the canoe livery are an example of private and governmental cooperation in ownership and maintenance. Many contributions have come into the Memorial Tree Program, in which selected specimens of trees dedicated to the memories of families and friends have been planted in the parks. Notice a running theme here? Donations from individuals like you and businesses like yours make projects happen. In many cases, they can ensure a park addition can be enjoyed now instead of 5 or 10 years from now. Here is a list of the park areas of Tipp City. City Park, that we've already talked about. Hathaway Village Park, located on Hathaway Trail. Towpath Nature Area on North 3rd Street. Kyle Park. This one may surprise you, but the old B&O Railroad Depot at 5th and Main Streets. Hyattsville Garden Park, next to Dairy Queen. Tweed Woods Park on Sequoia Court. Woodlawn Park on Woodlawn Drive. Spring Hill Park on Fern Avenue. WINDMERE Park on Charrington Way. These parks vary in size and equipment, but all are under constant evaluation and open to improvements. The Tipp City Parks Advisory Committee and the City Council welcome your input, suggestions, and of course, donations. If you want further information about how you can get involved and specific information about donation procedures, just call the Tipp City Government Center at 667-6305. That concludes our look at Tipp City's park and our tour of those parks and park system. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope that you'll give your input, your ideas to the Tipp City Parks Advisory Committee, City Council, and more importantly, we hope you just come out and enjoy Tipp City Parks. Thanks for being with us. I'm Mike Scinto.